Welcome everybody to another session here of 7th grade math or of 7th grade math topics. Today we're still working with expressions. We're doing some work on what's called expanding expressions or the distributive property. Don't feel like this video, again, is the only place you have to go to get help. If it doesn't make sense what I say here, there's places on the internet. I'll say some things here in just a second. There's the resources that the school provides, the textbook. I'm available on days of the week. Please don't feel like this video is the only option you have to learn this material. So we'll get me out of the way and we'll talk about expanding expressions. So if you see this phrase, expanding expressions, or sometimes it's just outright says the distributive property. Then you're set. For example, we're going to have some expressions we go over, and we're going to use the distributive property to expand them. And here's what we're talking about. Let's say I've got 5, and it's times x plus 8. I've got a problem like that. We want to expand it. Instead of just saying something times this other something, we're going to expand it and distribute this 5 into those parentheses. Remember that when two numbers are just next to each other, this is a number. You know, it's an x plus 8 number, it's a number. When it's next to another number, that means multiplication, even though we're too lazy to write it. So how do we do that? Well, it's like if you want to give gum to all your friends. If you want to give gum to all your friends here, you're going to give a piece of gum to each one of them. And they're all, everyone inside the parentheses, everyone inside your circle of friendships, your oval of friendship, everyone's going to get a piece of gum. It's the same thing here. You're going to take the 5 and you're going to multiply it, multiplication, you're going to multiply it by the x, and then you're going to multiply it by the plus 8. So what's 5 times x? You just write that out. It's 5x. You guys have learned about that 5x means 5 times that. And then 5 times these plus 8s. So it's plus 8, 5 times. Well, just 5 times 8 is 40, and we're adding, it's a positive number times a plus, so it's 5x plus 40. That is the work of today. What if I had negative 3 times y plus 4? Well, you take this negative 3 and you multiply it by everything in there. It's a negative 3 times a positive y, so that's negative 3y. And a negative 3 times this plus 4. You can take the negative times a positive. And if you remember, if the signs are different, that means it's negative. And then 3 times 4 is 12. So you're multiplying the operation, the sign of the operation, and you're multiplying the numbers. I could do this with negative 1.2 times m minus 3.1. You multiply the negative 1.2 times m, that's negative 1.2 m's minus, let's see, a negative times a minus, that the two negatives make it positive, and I have no idea what that is, but my calculator knows. 1.2 times 3.1, 3.72. And I need to remember to write the n. So the work of today is taking whatever's outside the parentheses and distributing it to everything inside the parentheses. If I had 3 times 4j minus 8. Well, 3 times 4j's, you take the 3 times the 4, that's 12j's. And then 3 times the minus 8, that's minus, that was a positive, 24. 12j minus 24. You can do it with positives and negatives, with integers, with decimals. You can do it with fractions. If I have 1/5 times 6m plus 8. 1/5 times 6, and you can multiply that with your calculator to get 6/5 m. And then 1/5 times this plus 8, it's like 8 over 1. You multiply straight across, it's 8/5. If there's fractions all over the place, 2/7 times a negative 1/3 b minus 2/6. You multiply fractions, and we know that with fractions, you multiply straight across, so 2 times 1, you have a negative 2/21 b. Your calculator will get the exact same answer. Minus, when you multiply 2/7 times 2/6, the 2 times 2 is 4, and the 6 times 7 is 42. And there's the answer. So in all of these problems, we expand expressions by distributing the number outside the parentheses to everything inside the parentheses. I've kind of shown you the same type of example over and over. A number outside with two numbers inside. This works with anything. If I were to give you one that's -3, and then you've got 4a minus 1/2 b plus 2.3c, it's the exact same type of problem. You just make sure this -3 is distributed to everything inside the parentheses. This becomes -12a, a negative and a minus. Those two signs make it a positive. 3/2 b, your calculator can get you that if you're not sure about 3 times 1/2. And then a -3 times a positive 2 and 1/3, that's a negative 6.9c. And that's the work of today, is expanding these expressions using the distributive property. Give a gum to every one of your friends, piece of gum to every one of your friends, or give these numbers to each of the numbers inside the parentheses. Give this some time to sink in. If this first time of hearing it isn't making sense, we'll spend some time on this and hopefully get it where you're comfortable with it. Thanks for watching.